going to give you a rundown on my Diamondback tool belt. This is the Deluxe framer. I believe they call it the Denali. It consists of the wrangle pouch and the Elias pouch. The wrangle and Elias are basically the same thing, but the Elias has more small slots in it for different items, and it has a flap which I cut off because I do not need this flap right here to Velcro on there. So I'm going to strap this thing up and show you guys what I've got in it. First thing you're going to notice is this buckle. I think they call it a Cobra Buckle, but it does not creep at all as far as the belt goes, and it goes together and comes apart super easy, very solid. I'm just going to start over here on my right side and work my way through it. I got the sheath, which keeps your hammer canted at an angle and keeps it tucked back behind here. Got my stiletto in there, 10 ounce, slides in really nice. I used to carry a 16 ounce S-twig with a metal hook up here, and you always had it hanging right here, and whenever you go to crouch down, it would always be jabbing you. So I really like having it tucked in back there. Going around, starting from the bottom, I keep my Babe Bot glue bottle, doing trim. This is a Chinois chalk line. It's got the little pointer on it. That's the chalk line I use most of the time. Here's where I keep my cut list tucked in. I've always got a cut list in there, and every time I come to the saw, I pull it in, or I pull it out and switch out the cut list that is at the saw. Works pretty good. It's pretty easy to get in and out, and I'll have a link to these notepads. It's about the perfect size for this, because it doesn't go in too deep, but it doesn't stick out too far either. So those work pretty good. 9mm pencil with adjustable eraser. Pretty simple utility knife. I don't like a big old thing. I like just simple, that's smooth, that slides in and out. I keep a flat bar like this primarily for baseboard. Whenever I get a drywall taper where the baseboard wants to go in at an angle, I'll hook this in underneath and pry it, and then scissor nail it, and that'll keep my joints tight. That tucks in pretty nice back in there. End nippers, use these quite a bit. I did have to cut off the rubber off of the handles on these just to make them go in smoother. It's a lot less friction sticking them in like this. Speed square slot does exactly what you need it to. It doesn't fall out, it doesn't get in the way, keeps it tucked in pretty nice. Up here, I mainly just carry sandpaper and then miscellaneous fasteners, or if I need some number 20 biscuits or Craig screws, I'll kind of throw them in this pocket. I keep this kind of just for miscellaneous stuff. Keep my other flat bar back in here. Tucks into this loop pretty nice. And then rubber mallet. Gotta have that. I'm always banging on things, and you'll put dents in your wood if you're using one of these. So going around, I'll just keep going around back. I'm a tape measure in the rear kind of guy. I have been ever since I started 15 years ago. It's just what I'm used to. So I put my own holster from my old rig on here, and that works pretty good. Phone. It's really annoying to try and reach in your pocket and get your phone out all the time. So whenever I'm on site, I just tuck that in there. I got this off Amazon. It's got a belt loop and a clip on it, and it stays on the back pretty nice. Laser. This is a Leica Disto, or Leica Disto D2. It's my favorite laser. I've had 3 of them. I tried a couple different things. I tried to have my laser up here and stretch this pocket out, it did not work. It's just not a big enough pocket. I think that that's something Diamondback needs to change. As a trim carpenter, you've got to have a spot for your laser. So I bought this from Menards. It was a cell phone holder, and I cut the flap off of it, and it works pretty good. I had tried to put it up here at the front, but I found that whenever I'd crouch down, it would get me in the gut, and then it would want to come unclipped. So it's been working pretty good, just keeping that back here. The top pouch, I just keep miscellaneous stuff. Usually I have 3 or 4 pinch dogs, some 10-penny nails, maybe some GRK cabinet head screws. I just keep miscellaneous items in there. I did put a couple magnets on the inside of this flap, and that keeps nails and stuff kind of stuck up here on the side, and it makes it easier to sort through stuff. That way, if all you need is your hanging crown and you just need one nail, you just you got it right here on the side rather than having to dig all the way to the bottom. Nails, there's one slot that's big enough for 2.5-inch nails, 15 gauge or 2-inch. Unfortunately, there's not really any other of the slots that are built in that are adequate for that. So I'll put some nails in here, and then the rest I just leave loose kind of in here. 1.5 inch, 18 gauge nails I use a lot of, and I keep those right here. I am having issues though, they do tend to break. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. It works okay, but they just tend to break off, and it's kind of annoying right there. My hawk knife I keep right here, and I thought that it was working. You see how nice it goes in to that spot, and I thought it was going to work, but little did I know I had actually sliced right through that pouch, and it was going over the top of the flap. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it is, yeah, it cut through there. So there's not really a great spot for that hawk knife, but honestly this works for me for now. Moving forward, chisel up here, nail set, whatever you call this thing. I use this for hinge pins, and whenever you screw up and you nail something to the wall and you need to take it off gracefully, especially if it's 15 gauge nails, I just drive them all the way through with this thing. It works miracles for me. Trend Ez Scribe. Always carry this, and it fits perfect back here. Hasn't fallen out or anything yet. I mean, it just could not be a better fit for that thing right there. This is like a welder's tapers gauge. I use this for beam work whenever I need to see how much to take off for drywall tapers and things like that, fitting things. Then you got your little slots up here. I was doing a final, so I've got some little ball end hex wrenches in here for bathroom hardware. Got my spring punch. I always keep a handful of number 10 biscuits. I go through these like water. That's my pouch that I put those in. I pretty much always have my stud finder on me, and that fits really nicely right there. Easy in and out for running base or whatever. You can grab it really quick. So I think that pretty much covers the tools that I keep inside this thing. Move over here. Some of the auxiliary tools that I use. I carry this torpedo level a lot. Beamwork, stairs, so many things. They don't really have a pouch that's big enough to fit this really well, as in easy to slide in and out. I can get it in there, quite honestly, more often than not. It just gets kind of thrown in and still works just fine. Lee Nielsen 102 block plane. Sometimes you need to throw that in somewhere. That works pretty good too. I'll check whenever I'm running crown. I like to have the regular chalk line in, so I'll swap this chalk line out for the chinois. either one. Wood filler, you know, sometimes it happens, you're using some wood filler. The nice thing about these pouches is there's just so many compartments to put stuff. So it's not hard to find somewhere to stick stuff in. Double square, there's just not really a great spot to fit this thing in well. I can just drop it in here, but then it kind of impedes anything else that I want to stick in this slot, and so I actually haven't been using this as much. I thought I might switch it out and use one of these gauges, because the main thing I use a double square for is marking different reveals, but there really isn't a good slot that's big enough to hold this either. So still kind of working through that whole process. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, the nice thing is I don't even use this pouch. There's so much pouch space that's not even used on these. I like that whenever I need to throw a tool in that kind of switches up my normal order of use, that I can just, I've got plenty of options and it doesn't just screw everything up. So yeah, that's pretty much the contents of what I carry in this thing. If you guys have any interest in seeing all the tools, I've got an Amazon list with everything that I have in my tool belt that you can look through and get anything that you want. I'll have that in the notes below. I think I'm gonna have another video with some of the things that I think could improve the rig and the things that I don't like about it. That'll be more of a review on the Diamondback tool belt itself. This is more just to kind of show the contents of what I carry on a day-to-day basis. So thanks for watching. Hope it helps.